Hello and thanks for joining me on episode 13 of the Aim High and Achieve podcast. Today I am delighted to be joined by Simen Holvik. Simen is a Norwegian ultra runner from Stavanger in Norway. He is the 2023 winner of the legendary Badwater Ultra and the 2024 winner of the Brazil 135 Ultra, as well as finishing second in the iconic Spartathon Marathon. He's considered to be amongst the best ultra marathon runners in the world. There's a little noise on the audio track as we recorded this live in a non-studio environment, but his amazing story still comes across perfectly well. Don't forget to like and subscribe through whichever channel you are listening, and make sure you give Simen a follow through his social media channels to follow his amazing journey. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Okay, Simen, welcome to the podcast. Great to talk to you again.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been speaking. We've been speaking quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. So it's great to finally meet you and get to know you. You're just back from Brazil, from the Brazil 135-mile race. How's the body holding up?
Yeah, now it's getting better and better. What I'm normally having issues with is the internal organs. Liver and kidney and that stuff, but now it's getting better.
Yeah,
I'm only up once a night pee. So no, it's good. No issues with physical thing. Started to run. This week I'll do a 200k week, and so I'm kind of soon be back on track. Next week I'll do 260, and then then I'm back.
At the moment I'm doing around 50, so I can get to 50k really easily, but then I kind of struggle after 50k. Between 50 and 70k for me is quite a bit as a sort of amateur runner, but I'm planning on running in an ultra marathon in April, so I have 87 days I think.
Yeah.
So that comes.
You're counting down on your calendar.
I put in my Strava, so I put T minus and the days, so it's a reminder every day of what I need to do. But so the Brazil race that you've just come back from, 135 miles, which is 217 kilometers, cracking. And how do you sort of approach a race like that in terms of your training? Is it kind of like you ramp down as you come to it? Are you sort of working on your hydration strategies, food strategies? Just talk a little bit about how you specifically prepare for that one.
Yeah, so normally I do a tapering period where I go down to 100k 2 weeks before, and 50k the week before that again, or the week after. And then normally I have a good fuel and nutrition plan in a document, split down per hour, and my carbo targets and all that. And then I discuss that with the Precision Fuel and Hydration Gel company, which are my one of the guys I'm working with, to get their ins and outs, and then I'm going down. This race, Brazil, was straight after New Year and Christmas holiday, and so I was not really prepared. This was more as a kickoff. I was invited down, and I just want to look at it, do kind of best effort based on Christmas period with a lot of heavy IPAs.
Yeah. So. You're being quite humble, but you actually won the race. You won the men's race, which is fantastic. And one thing I noticed, I've been looking at the race and doing a bit of research and things, the sort of average age of people running that race was quite old. It was sort of 40s or something, I'm guessing. there's no young guns that's running in this race.
No, that's true, but that's okay. You see the same in Badwater.
Okay.
That average age is 49.
Wow.
I'm 46. So I think that's I don't know, part of the game. It's okay. It's all about. It's not all, but the mental aspect is so big in this kind of long. I was running for 29 hours, and I was with a victory. So that means you need to have a strong head to be willing to do that.
That's unbelievable. And I think one thing that really attracted me to your story and the more I kind of read into you was obviously, you know, you're a couple of years older than me, and you know, there's a lot of people out there sort of who get to the 40s and, you know, maybe they've not looked after themselves, maybe they're a bit lost in a sort of 9-to-5 job. You know, and this kind of ultra running, it's given me a bit of a new to life, really. You know, I've discovered it, and I've not to your level by any means, but I've kind of discovered it starting out with it, and you know, it just shows that, you know, the sort of average age of 49 at Badwater, you know, your life's not over when you get to your 40s. You know? No, we're told, aren't we, in sports like football or rugby, you know, 34 is old now in football and rugby.
Yeah, no, you know? For me, the life has just started. This is kind of my next chapter.
Yeah.
And I feel that, well, I think I can be competitive 2, 3, 4 years. And then I will kind of continue into adventure and but still in the same kind of stuff, running long distance.
Sorry about that. Just talk to me a little bit about where your story began in running. How did you discover it and where it sort of began for you?
Yeah, so it in short, it really started. The first start was when my dad got a heart attack. Okay. So I found him outside of school. Okay. Happily, he survived. And after that, he has survived 3 more heart attacks. But after that, I went to the doctor and asked for, okay, what's my? Can I be there? When I'm
you exposed to a genetic or something?
And he said, just a short story, he said, looked at me and said, yes, you are a good candidate based on me being a big guy, loving barbecue and beer drinking. Okay. So that was when I started to run.
You started to think about it, yeah?
Yeah, just in small scale. I was running kind of 10Ks, half marathon. Okay. I did not finish my first half marathon in Stavanger. Okay. So at least I was going, and after 3-4 years, I was able to do a sub-3 marathon. Wow. So that was a good progression. Yeah. And then, we got a big tragedy. I lost my wife due to cancer. That was a massive time in my life and in our lives. And then I just had to kind of find a way out of that chaos.
And obviously the tragedy of that takes your life where, you know, you can go 2 ways. You can go into a black hole. You can go into a black hole.
True.
People do that. Yeah. Or you can go the other way. And I suppose it's the way you've gone. Your wife is going to be thinking, you know, looking down on you, how proud she is, you know.
Yes, true.
That's one thing to always think about.
Yes. So what I realized that when I was, of course, maybe especially as a man, for me, I was not that in touch with my feelings. Okay. So it was hard to kind of feel.
To process it.
Yeah, to process it, to handle all that. But what I could process was to run long distance. And by the running, I got more kind of in touch with myself. So I used that as in a way to heal my
meditation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to process your thoughts on it, and I suppose as well, if you know, even if I kind of go out running for half an hour or something, it's just so good for the mind. I mean, I almost don't do it for the fitness thing. It's such a mental health benefit, you know, and it gives you time, and so obviously that's what you experience there is a massive catastrophe almost. You have to process it, and obviously being, you know, if you're out running, you know, you're going to process that a lot better than if you're sat in a chair,
true,
you know, in the doom and gloom, and then feeling sorry for yourself. And I suppose that's, you know, probably the best thing you could have done at that moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. And at that time I also had was going with a kind of therapy with a psychologist, and she was very into that I should run with a kind of correct reason, because purpose, because it's you should not run away from things, you should not hide, but you should use running to run into it. Okay. So there's some kind of difference. Okay, why are you doing it? So I tried to work on that, and I managed to find a good way, and still today it's I don't know, I do this because it feels I'm happy. It gives me it's my natural drug, and in some way I'm addicted.
Yeah, I can, you know, we're sat in your kitchen. Thanks for inviting me into your home. It's very humbling. And the minute I came in, you know, you've got trainers on the shoes on the kitchen table, you know, you've got books. You're like a kid, and don't take this away, but you're like a little kid who's, you know, you can just see the enthusiasm in you about what you're doing, and when you're posting on the social media, and I love it because you post your day, what you're doing, you're giving people a real insight into what your life is, which you know, for somebody like myself who's sort of looking for inspiration for running and things like that, it's fantastic to actually get real content, you know, not the bullshit content we see on social media a lot of the time, you know.
Yeah, so I'm trying to sell a dream. So in some way I'm living the dream life. And I'm trying to show people that, okay, you don't have to quit your job like I've done. But I think it's very important that you decide what to do with your life and not be in between. You should either go that way or that way, but take a decision and follow your dreams. And people are sending me private messages saying that, wow, you're such a big inspiration. I want to do the same stuff, but I'm either too stuck in big payment on a house, or I don't know, stuff. I can't do it.
That's the magic formula, isn't it? You know, I followed a guy, South African explorer. I've mentioned him in podcasts before. I have sent him an invitation to come on this podcast, so if he's listening, then please reply. But he kind of, I remember, he's an explorer and he travels all around the world. He goes to the Himalayas and I played a clip from one of his TED Talks that he gave where he said exactly the same thing about when he went to the North Pole, his cornea froze in his eye. And he could explain to himself why he was going through that pain better than he could if he was sat in his car going to work, stuck in traffic. I played it in the Tom Owen podcast. And it just, that one thing that he said really hit me, of you can explain when you have chronic stomach pains and your legs are cramping and you want to quit in a 100-mile race, you can explain why you're there. When you sat in your car going to work, doing it because you have to and because you want to get your salary, you know? It's a lot easier to explain why you're going through the things you are.
That's true. But of course, now I'm sitting here and this is kind of a dream place. I've been dreaming about this for a long time. But then it's also a bit difficult when you are in the dream. The dream within the dream. It's often a lot easier to have something, okay, next year I'm going to do this and that, and then you can play with that dream. So now I really have to focus on kind of being here right now and to feel it, enjoy it. not think about kind of the next step, because now I'm here.
When was the moment that you went from, just kind of, you're going to work, you're running 10Ks, 15K, 20 half marathons. When was the moment when you sort of thought to yourself, I could be one of the world's best ultra runners here? Was there a pivotal moment, or was it gradual?
I think it could be 2019. I was running a 24-hour race in Gloucester in the UK. I think that was the first time when I experienced something extremely special. Running around for hours and hours, and I was getting deeper and deeper into something. You can call it a bubble or a black hole, or I was kind of going into myself in some way. And it
was like a spiritual.
Yes, really spiritual. I felt I could see stuff. I got kind of clear eyes. I could kind of get an insight into myself that I never experienced.
Wow.
That was, it was really a religious moment. And then, of course, when the 24-hour bell rang, I just woke up and I was back into the world. And then I had around 253 kilometers. And that was some of the best results that year in the world.
Okay.
Took off my shoes, my toes were black. I hadn't noticed because I was not in the physical world.
Okay.
That was so strong.
Wow.
And then after that, I realized that yes, if you can find this superpower, then you can be something big.
Yeah.
It's all about using your head and I don't know, to get deep into something. That was, I think that was the moment.
Wow, that's
amazing.
Yeah, so I've been in the pain cave a few times, not in a 24-hour kind of thing, but I've kind of experienced. I had some very bad blisters doing a small ski tour that I did for a couple of days. And I had some bad blisters for a day or so, and that was hell on earth. So I can kind of get what you mean, but it's fantastic. We can't not mention Badwater.
Yeah, true.
2023. I nearly forgot about that. You obviously won Badwater, a race. Most people probably hear Badwater and they hear David Goggins. He's kind of associated with that. So just talk about
coffee.
Yes, thank you. Nice coffee. You have to give a plug for one of your sponsors.
Yeah,
which is
Supreme Roastworks.
Okay, Supreme Roastworks.
It's freshly
it's a different
Brazil.
It's a different kit. This.
Yeah.
Badwater 2023.
Yeah.
You won.
Yeah.
You have the t-shirt on. You are the champion of Badwater. So
cool.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that race, because this is
that's the, even if you're kind of a non-runner, you know about that race.
Yeah.
And you know that that is the hottest place on Earth.
Wow.
And that's where you have to run on the white stripes to not get burned out the soles. You can cook bacon on the road and all these stories. Some of them are true, but And that's the race where David Goggins failed the first time he was trying to do it. So it's a good, famous race, and so we arrived with a good crew. First a week in Vegas, and then a week in Furnace Creek, which is in deep,
What state
Death Valley.
What state is it? In Arizona?
No, it's California.
California, okay.
Yeah. So, what can we say? The start was 10 in the evening. The plan was to go out really hard and show no respect.
Okay.
That was the deal with me and my coach, Sondre Amdal. So I think with that race, it's people having a bit too much respect. Of course, it's hot. It was close to 50 degrees Celsius, but it was not the hottest year ever. It was Maybe a bit colder than normal, but still very, very hot.
Were you well known before at the start line, if you understand me? Were people kind of looking at you as if, well, this is the guy to beat, or were you a bit of an unknown going into it?
Well, before that race, I was second in Brazil, 135.
Yeah, Brazil 2023.
Yes. I was put in the kind of the last wave. They have 3 waves. Okay. So I was put in the kind of the favorite. Okay. So they saw me as a 1 out of 35 favorites. Yeah. But no, I think I was a bit outsider.
But there's not many Is there many Europeans that go over to race?
I was the only Norwegian. Okay. The first Norwegian ever to complete. I was one Swedish guy, and not that often.
So you don't really associate ultra runners so much with Norway, I guess. I don't know, not come across too many.
No, I think Norway is more. I don't know.
I think Killian Jornet lives up in the north.
True.
Yeah.
I think Norway is famous for adventure. We're good people.
Yeah.
I guess that's why Trump wanted to have Norwegians and not all other guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So you won that race, and what do you get for winning, if you don't mind me asking? Is it just sort of the prestige of the win?
Yeah, well, we all get the same. Every finisher gets a finish T-shirt like this, and a belt bucket.
Okay.
And you have to have a speech on the dinner.
Yeah. Like the Masters golf.
Yeah. So no prize money.
No.
Only prestige, and but the prestige is good.
I mean, it's some prestige to be, when you're 85 talking to the grandkids and you tell them you won Badwater and Brazil 135, and there's another big race you competed in and competing in is the Spartathon. Is that right? Over in Greece.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that one, because I know that one has a special place with you.
Yeah, so if you look into the 2 most important races in the world for road ultra, it's Badwater and Spartathlon.
Okay.
So Spartathlon has been going on for 41 years, following the famous route from Athens to Sparta. Okay. So it's all related to the Battle of Marathon and all the Greek history, and so could be maybe that's a bit more competitive than Badwater. It's not that exclusive.
Yeah, it's more open for competitors.
Yeah, I think they have close to 400 people, and not 100.
Yeah.
So it's something else, but still, it's. I arrived on second place. Okay. That one, second male.
In 2023.
Yes, about the same time as Badwater, 22 and a half hours.
Wow. How far is that one?
246.
246.
I think that's 146 miles. Ish.
Wow. Okay.
So that's it's the same. I think at least the same duration time wise.
What's your sort of approach to, because the physical, it blows my mind a little to think of that distance to run it. But what's your sort of approach to the mental side of running that distance? After sort of 50k, you've done a marathon and you've still got another 4 marathons to go almost. How do you where do you go mentally to get yourself through that? Is it hard? Is it like a dark place, or are you quite good with it?
Well, especially on that race, it was really busy. Okay. Because you have to follow your process every 5 minutes. You need to take that gel, you need to drink that, you need to blah, 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 blah. So you're so busy to have these small tasks all the way.
A routine.
Yeah,
doing every kilometer. Okay, you're thinking every kilometer in 2K. I've got to.
Yeah, and it's all about problem solving. Of course, you get some GI distress thing going on, and you have to handle that. And then, you're peeing a bit too much. Okay, maybe you should cut down on the liquid and increase the sodium. And so it's all kind of, especially when you're on that competitive level, it's all about analyzing and problem fixing. Yeah. And then, of course, when doing that for a half day, the darks come and then you turn into more, you have to work when you're puking and you're not able to eat because all kind of issues. Then you have to work on the mental picture. People are chasing you and...
it's almost like you're handling the pressure of you want to win the race, and you might have somebody a few meters behind you who is hammering. You have to manage all these things. It takes some doing, and I'm putting myself in that position. At the moment, I've got a bit of a lazy mentality where I'd be thinking, and I need to improve this. When I did a marathon last year, and I remember setting off, and I thought I'm okay for 10k, which was totally wrong because if I took anything after 10k, it's going to take another 5k to get in the system. So I should have been taking gels at the start to get them and hydrating properly to start with. So I ran into a bit of trouble at about 35k, went to a very, very dark place for a few K, and then realised that I've only got a few K left now, I can get through it. But, it's taking it from I've gone from being a recreational runner, half an hour after work, to when you're going into marathons and ultra marathons, it's a different league if you want to enjoy it, I suppose. You don't want it to be, you don't want to, be on the brink of death doing it. You want to be enjoying it, I guess.
No, so on that race, I had a good crew from Precision Fuel and Hydration as a UK company. So of course, they as a company had invested a lot into this, flying 2 people down, all that. So in some way I had to deliver. They were pushing good, and at the end I was not able to eat anything, and they we made some deal that by the next checkpoint you should at least have completed this gel and all that. And then, of course, Camille Heron, she was fighting me at the back and trying to get me. So that was a big motivation to have her.
And you've stopped working full time to focus on this live full time.
Yeah, true.
What kind of pressures have come with that side of it? You're now doing this full time. You're sort of finding sponsorship, finding where the money is, how you're going to make a life of it. How have you sort of handled because there's a lot of people, I'm guessing, listening to kind of podcasts, and you touched on it before with people saying, how can I live the dream? I still have to work, I still have to pay a mortgage. So you've made that decision to go with it. And I guess it's a secret ingredient of how you got to that point where you could eventually do that. And I'm guessing you put in the groundwork and got to a level where you were good enough athletic wise to do it. But how do you kind of handle that transition from stopping to work to focus on this 100%?
Yes, so now it's now I have to deliver on races, and I have to wake up and train. This is my job. Every day I have to do what's in the plan. And no excuse. I have to be good in kind of social media. I have to be open, I have to be a nice guy. I can't really say, maybe I have stopped a bit promoting alcoholic double IPAs because that's not for everyone.
No.
Stuff like that. No, so it's... But again, it's that, okay, now I'm in the dream, and now it's not a hobby anymore.
No.
And I have to make sure that I'm still enjoying it.
I like on your social media, I'm following you and looking into everything, and you kind of post your day plan, and you will say you're running and you have a meeting, and do you think it's kind of like you have a lot of followers now, so it's kind of like a new world. You've almost got a lot of people looking up to you. You almost feel like that audience is almost driving you every day, to show them, to deliver what you're sort of promising.
Yeah, in some way, I'm okay. There are several followers texting me that you're a big inspiration, especially when I was running across Norway, 100 Ks per day, and they said, well, if you can do that for 25 days, then I should be able to run 5 at least for one day. So I don't really have any responsibility to put stuff on social media, but I'm just honest and tell a bit for my life, and I think that's good it's good for everyone to get a bit push. That you can live your dream and aim high. Yeah,
but I think also there is a dopamine level to get for people telling you that.
Yeah, that's true
for sure.
Yeah,
and it's social media. There's a lot of a lot of complaints about it. But there is a lot of good in it. There's a lot of bad in it, and it's like everything. If you think back to when I was a kid, what was I doing? I was coming home from school playing on the Sega Master System for 5 hours, probably. And the Super Nintendo and the NC, so we were doing.
True.
The same shit my kids are doing with an iPad, and it's just having some common sense and saying, listen, you've been on that long enough now, find something else and go outside. It's just having a bit of common sense with it. But I mean, social media is, it's important, especially you have true content that you're putting on, and it has a lot of value. It can't be overlooked how much value it has, especially for people, they might be in a bit of a hole. They need a bit of inspiration. They only have to look at one video of yours, and that could be life-changing, the power of it.
Yeah, true. And of course, it's part of the job. I have to be visible and say hello to people. I'm here.
And your sponsors, obviously, you need sponsors. You have to,
Yeah, and of course, they ask or check how many followers you have and likes, and that counts. And also what kind of followers. That they're not all from India that you can buy, or is it real people? It's important.
So how does your 2024 look then? How is your diary looking race-wise, training-wise? What's the sort of average day look like for you now?
So this week I'm just ramping up after Brazil. So this week will be 200K. And then I go to 260 the weeks after. So my next goal is Torino, March 9. I'll do a 24-hour race around the 1K loop. So I see that I have to deliver a good result to get some credibility in Norway and on the national team. So after that, I'm going to Hungary in, I think it's April, to do Ultra Balaton. That's around the lake. It's 210 kilometers. I will try to do the course record, because that will give me some money. So, and then Badwater, if I'm elected, they will announce it.
There's no automatic registration for that, even if you did win it. You still have
I have submitted my application, and I've written my 25 words about this and 100 words about that. So I think I'm a good candidate. And I haven't really said anything bad about that organization. So, but they have the final word. They'll put out 103 names. We'll see what's happening.
Have you looked at, is Leadville another big race over there?
That's more trail.
More of a trail.
Is it 14,000?
Yeah, I think so. I've watched a lot of kind of YouTube mini documentaries on these kind of things because obviously.
So that's not the race for me.
No,
so I'm a road guy.
Okay, so the San, you can't give me any tips for the Sandnes Ultra Trail.
No, that's just that's heavy terrain.
Okay.
So after Badwater, July, I have a Spartathlon.
Yeah.
Same. September, and then the plan is to go to US for a 6-day race.
Okay. Yeah.
In December. I think that's
So that's your season pretty much mapped out, and you sort of 200k a week.
Yeah, 260 now. Next week.
Yeah. And you obviously you said you're working with a nutritionist. Are you super focused on nutrition, or is it kind of just calories for you in the training?
In my everyday life, I'm just eating normal, good food. A lot of home-based cooking. When I'm having my kind of quality runs, I make sure to run on the race fuel. And use exactly the same that I'm doing during race, with the same amount of carbs and sodium. And then before race, I have a big discussion with my GEL producer.
Okay.
I think the eating and drinking, that's the most important on these races.
Because I've been kind of experimenting with a couple of gels, and I've found one that's okay. But in the early days when I was doing a bit of running, I found that the wrong gels and things can have some pretty bad consequences if you're not used to the right kind of mix of what you're putting in your body, especially when you're out in the doing a long run.
Yeah, so I think okay, at the end it's not that important what kind of gel you're using. As long as it's good quality. And I'm not a big fan of any taste, so I don't have any taste on any of my products. So just make sure that you're getting enough carbs. So my goal is 75 gram per hour on the 24-hour race.
Okay.
And then you should do the same in training. It's that simple.
Nice. Do you have any allegiance with anyone else who's ultra running in Norway? Do you have any sort of people you look up to, or in the world that you kind of got your eye on, sort of inspired by, or you kind of lone wolf, you just on yourself?
Yeah, of course I have a coach discussing a bit, but I more or less never train with anyone.
Okay.
Maybe on some easy runs, just call up a chap and do something easy, talk.
Social.
Yeah. So no, but in Norway we are kind of a small group with like me. Yeah,
I'll join you after I do my Sandnes Ultra if I survive to tell the tale.
Yeah, sure.
That's going to be a lot. You're not the first person who has said to me, Steve, have you seen what this race is all about? And I'm, well, not really, but
that's the 50 miles.
50 mile, not the 100 mile. There's the 50 mile and the 100 mile. And my mentality was kind of like, I just sign up for the 100 mile. And then I didn't, and then I'm quite glad actually. Because when I looked at it, I thought, no, maybe going in at the 50 mile is sensible.
So what you should do is just run through that course.
Yeah, I'm going to go and do a recce and do a hike and see what the ground is like. And
it's really heavy. It's what they call this Ryfylkeheiene, the mountain range there.
Yeah, I think there's 4,000 meters.
And it's really up and down and single track heavy.
Yeah, okay. Then I have to keep the training going, and I think I'm
slippery as well.
Yeah,
it's raining. April.
Yeah. Oof. I just look forward to a beer at the end. Should keep me going. Yeah. But alcohol is it's a funny issue especially in Norway. Socially, it can be a bit of a I'm involved in a couple of rugby teams and things, and alcohol has always been in Norway in general. It's quite a controlled substance, let's say. So I mean, not sort of sponsoring alcohol is a sensible thing here. Yeah. But I think it's nice to have a beer at the end of a hard day's work. But obviously not promoting it as a sponsor is sensible. We have come into a few things in rugby that we
myself, I'm saluting with a kind of big beer. Yeah. But not straight after race.
No. Obviously you have to.
Yeah, I feel I have to kind of give my liver and kidney a few days to recover. Yeah. And then I'll have one. Yeah. But in my most intensive weeks up to race, I'm kind of non-alcoholic. Yeah. And then I'm a big fan of alcohol-free beer.
Yeah, I've been January. I've hardly had a beer. I had one beer the other week, but there's some good non-alcoholic beers out there now. Norway has some non-alcoholic breweries, for example. I think you have something with Lervik.
Yeah, so I'm working close with Lervik, and they have a big line. Okay. So it's impressive.
Yeah, and it's like you say, your liver and your kidneys are the ones. Funnily enough, in a race like that, they are actually getting the most damage, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's all the processing of the sodium, and it's a lot of salt running through. Yeah, let's say it could be up to 2 grams per hour. Okay, and that's a lot. If you do that for 24 hours.
Yeah, because you're losing so much salt, you have to replace the electrolyte, brain function.
Yeah, so I took a sodium test, where I analyzed how much sodium do you lose per 1 liter sweat. Yeah. And they came up with a number, 1,320 milligram. Okay. And so that means that... if you're during a really hot, I can easily lose 2 liters. Okay. And that has to be kind of...
You've got to get that back in your system. And...
So if you're able then to eat 2 liters of drink and 2 grams with sodium, then you're good.
Yeah. Do you do anything with hot and cold therapies, sauna or cold plunge? Because this is a big phase now.
Yeah.
You only have to go on Instagram and you see some donut jumping into a cold plunge.
Yeah. No, I have my infrared sauna. Okay. So I do that every evening. Okay. It's extremely useful. Yeah. So I feel that again you're sweating a lot, and I think that's good. You get rid of a lot of toxins. Yeah. It feels good, relaxed. I check my heartbeat, and it's 140. So it's like a good easy run as well.
I have a sauna, but not an infrared sauna. But I have to check the electricity price before I take it on, because on the West Coast here, we've had some crazy electricity tariffs. Yeah. So I have a little bit of a problem relaxing in the sauna when I'm thinking about how much the electricity is being pumped into it. So, but besides that, so what's the difference between infrared and a regular one?
Well, the way I feel it is that the infrared, mine is only up to 65 degrees Celsius, but it goes deeper. Okay. It feels that it warms more from the inside. Okay. While the Finnish traditional sauna, that's more from the outside. Okay. Outside and in. So it's kind of opposite the way I feel it.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday from called Tetragrammaton with Rick Rubin. And he had Huberman on the podcast with another guy, I can't remember his name, and they were talking about the benefits of the light, the spectrum of light has on the human cells. He was saying that infrared is so important for cell health and cell at a mitochondrial level. Yeah. So there could be something in your infrared sauna that's...
But I think at the end it just feels good. Yeah. I don't care what the kind of experts saying. Watching a movie and close the door and leave the cats outside. And
nice. See, so brilliant. I've really enjoyed talking with you. I wish you all the best for the season. Just give one last thing I just want to ask you about is for anybody out there, they want to start running or they want to sort of, what's your one sort of bit of advice for anyone out there who's in a bit of a hole, who just wants to sort of start where you sort of started off many years ago?
Yeah, so I would just say make it very easy. Do not care about speed or anything. What helped me in the beginning was just to call up some friends and just make whatever easy run and celebrate with a beer. Make some fun of it.
Perfect. Thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it so much. This podcast we're going to take on to all the normal ones, Spotify, Apple. On the YouTube version, I'm going to put together a sort of 10-minute video from your Brazil race.
Oh, cool.
So people go on YouTube, Aim High and Achieve podcast, they can get 10-minute highlights of that race, and then we'll follow that on with the podcast. So on your Instagram is Simen Holvik.
Yes.
So people can search you up. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. People can search you there. And once again, thanks very much.
Oh, thank you.